What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Going deep, and it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown by Xavion Diaz. A great throw, Diaz wide open. There we go. Give it a good pull. And Vineland defense. Oh, no.
What? That was a little suspect.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia. Kyle Bennett, Coach Guzman here with you on another episode following another big-time Vineland win. We're going to get into the win, preview the postseason, and a whole lot more. But before we do, make sure you guys subscribe to Guzman's Gridiron wherever you get your podcasts in audio form, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other audio platform. It's available on the Guzman's Gridiron podcast feed and the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast feed. Subscribe to both, subscribe to one, whichever floats your boat. And, of course, if you want to watch the show live every single week, it is on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video. Click the bell icon so you know when the video goes live. We're in the chat. It premieres like it's a live TV show. So hop in, and it's available for rewatch whenever you want. It's in a playlist on our channel as well. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Coach, 5-3, the regular season's over, and a big-time win on the road to cap it off.
Yeah, that was it was a. I'm going to tell you right now, it was an absolute team win. All the kids came prepared, ready and willing to do what it takes to get that W. They executed on all three phases. Just extremely proud of all the kids, extremely.
So defensively, you guys brought it. I feel like that was, to go on the road for the first time in a few weeks and to be prepared that way was exceptional. You give up the field goal. It wasn't even a touchdown or anything like that, so that's huge for the defense as well. But I feel like this game in particular, the defense was hitting hard.
Yeah.
It was some hard, clean hits the entire game, whether it was the first quarter, the fourth quarter. The defense was on their A-plus game in this one.
You want to talk about, first of all, let's put credit where credit's due. That defensive line was doing work. The likes of Donnie St. Jean, Aiden Zincraft, Jose Febus. I mean, they were putting in great work. Brandon Bedoya. I mean, all these guys came with their hard hat on. And then, of course, you got Noah Cruz making all tackles all around the field. Saquon, I mean, Fanador, Muchie had a game. Muchie had a game offensively and defensively. Special teams, too. Just, again, these kids came prepared, came with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and just, put everything to work that Friday.
And I think, like you said, it started with the defensive line, and the first big hit was Donnie's sack, and just comes in there, and I can still feel my body shaking from that hit.
Yeah.
You know, when you enforce kind of, you know, your toughness like that in a game, and kind of let the opposing team know, like, hey, we're coming to play. Like, our season's not over. We got a lot more to play for. We're going to make you earn this win. I think it shows a lot, especially when it's coming from the defensive side of the ball off the jump, because obviously you guys won the toss. You deferred it, so you start on defense and kind of assert your dominance there. And Donnie laying that first sack, I was like, oh, this is this type of game. You know, this is the type of game where the defense is it's all three phases, and they're going to come out and kind of just lay the hardware, and it's going to be clean, solid hits all night long, and that's exactly what it was.
Absolutely. You know, we kept preaching to the kids, we don't take anyone lightly. Anyone. We don't care about records. A record's a record, but, you know, the will of a team, you can't put that into measurables, right? You can't just measure that out. And this team was pretty good team. I mean, they would play pretty good opponents week in and week out, so we knew it wasn't going to be easy. But the kids know that they don't underestimate anybody, no matter how good or how, you know, bad they are. We're going to come and give you our A-plus game every time we step on the field. And like I said, the kids came prepared and did their due diligence, and at the end it was a W for us.
And, I mean, it was a perfect end to that first half, too. As the game progressed, you guys were playing standout defense, and then, you know, we'll talk about him on offense, too, but Jose Febus lays that sack to kind of put the cherry on top of a beautiful first half. Talk to me about his game and just the way he performed defensively, because it felt like it was one of his better defensive games this season, all in all, from start to finish of this game.
Absolutely. Jose Febus, that boy puts in a lot of work, man. He's put in a lot of work in the offseason. He's grinded all season. You know, he's grinded in that playbook. He's constantly in contact with, you know, Coach Shelton and Coach Smith. Not to mention offensively with Coach Hendricks, Coach Fitton. So, I mean, he's always trying to learn, trying to be better at his craft. And he put everything on display offensively and defensively. We'll talk about the offensive part in a little bit. But he put it all on display this past Friday.
And I think on the defensive side of things, too, you talked about Mutchie having a game across the board in all three phases. I think this is just another week at that linebacker position. He looks more and more comfortable there.
Absolutely. Mark is he's an incredible athlete. He's an incredible leader for our team. And, you know, like I told you, he's one of them guys that leads by example. His play does the talking, man. I mean, he's prepared week in and week out. He does his studying, you know, film work-wise. And then, you know, he puts in, you know, all the effort that's needed offensively, defensively, special teams-wise to go ahead and you know, be masterful at his craft. So kudos to Mutchie on having an unbelievable trifecta game.
And I think somebody, too, this season who got off kind of on the wrong foot that week 0 game, had a little hiccup there, but as the season's progressed, and I think the way Rich has been calculating everything, I think he's second on the team behind Noah Cruz in tackles this year. Aiden Barriento has been really, really good for this defense this year, and I don't think he gets enough shine for – he's doing it kind of under the radar. You know, you have the big names and everything, but he's making plays. He's out there. He was the first one to that muffed over-the-head, you know, punt snap there, and he's made a lot of big-time plays for this defense and kind of just goes about it quietly and has really rebounded strong week over week, and I thought he had a really strong game this week against Cherry Hill West.
I'm going to tell you right now, Aiden Barriento is one of those kids that's just a grinder. He works hard week in and week out. He's really knowledgeable defensively. I'm telling you, the kid knows his stuff. And, you know, when you see him out on the field, you might not think, oh, well, he's not much. The kid is smart. He makes up for the physical measurables with his mind. I mean, he knows where the ball's going. He's always around the football. If you notice when you watch film, Aiden is always around.
In those tackle scrums.
Yes, he is. He's always there. But he just put a nice little game together this Friday. I mean, you know, from special teams to you know, defensive play, he has upped his game. But the thing that I'm most proud of Aiden, the thing that I'm most proud of Barriento is he went from a St. Joe game where he got a personal foul there. He got ejected, right? Okay. First game, he got ejected. ever since me and him had a talk, smooth sailing. He knows that he's putting the team before him. He's not making selfish decisions. And at the end of the day, he's going to be a team player through and through. And that's what he's shown you and the growth since game one.
100%. And I mean, he's so fun to watch, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, he's always around the ball.
Always.
He's making plays. And like I said, I think from the last calculation I saw Rich do up in the booth, he's second on the team in tackles behind Noah Cruz, which that's nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all. Again, he's been doing a tremendous job for us. And Aiden's the type of kid that's just going to keep growing. He's going to keep growing mentally. He's going to, of course, he's going to build that armor. He's going to grow physically. So watch out. That the future's going to be bright with that kid.
And I think, to touch on the defensive line, too, I thought Aiden Zincraft had another fantastic game this week. I think he's really come into his own over the past 2-3 weeks of really, grinding the tape like he always does and it translating to consistency on the football field.
That kid is just a hard worker, true freshman. Playing on both offensive and defensive sides of the ball. He's just, and then speaking about him on the defensive side, he picks up things very, quickly. The main focal point with him is we want him to just play, to stop thinking so much and play, because once that really starts to happen and flow, this is going to be one of those players to really watch out for.
And I think from that ACIT game on, we've really seen the progression of Bedoya, too. He's
Absolutely.
really just found his home on that defensive line, has really been able to get after opposing offenses and really assert himself from a physical standpoint on that D-line.
Brandon is I'm extremely proud of Brandon Bedoya because of the simple fact that it's the first time he's ever played organized football, man. It's the first time. He's a big kid, physical kid. Smart kid. It's just that this is the first time he's ever played football, period. So for him to pick up the game that as quick as he has and get playing time on the varsity level, that's kudos to him. He really wants to learn. He's eager to learn. He's a coachable kid. He's a great kid to be around. And he's all gas, no brakes. I mean, this kid is flying around in practice like nobody's business. And then he flies around at the game, nobody's business. I mean, but again, we're really proud of Brandon and how he's come along and progressed.
And, on the offensive side of the ball, first touchdown of the game goes to Jose Febus, and I don't think I've seen a bigger smile when I talked to Jose after the game of just scoring a receiving touchdown as a fullback. And he said, we've worked on that play in practice, and, it finally paid off. But, to see him kind of cash in there, how cool was that? In that moment where you see Elijah kind of directing traffic on the rollout too, and you see Jose just taking the direction, finds a spot, and then perfectly floated ball into the end zone.
Jose Febus I love that kid. He's a little see, we have a little inside thing. That's family anyway. That's my little cousin on top of it, so I love him to death. He is special in that he took on this role, right? That's fullback because he used to be a lineman, right? No problem. He took it on. He did an excellent job taking it on. But he hasn't found pay dirt yet, right? So this past week, it's like I looked at him, and I knew he scored. His teammates knew he scored, but I don't think Jose knew he scored. Until he got up, he looked, and it's like, yeah, But it was such a wholesome moment. It was such a great moment because you saw it in his face, man. You saw he was beyond excited. It's like, that's my first touchdown, So when he came over the sidelines, I looked at him. I go, you got in, huh, didn't you? He goes, well, he threw it. I had to catch it. I was like, my brother's your first one. Congratulations. I'm very proud of him. I mean, a kid like that grinds week in and week out, gives you everything, in the weight room on the off season, gives you everything in off season workouts, and then not only takes it upon himself to switch positions, but
earned
takes
a C on his jersey.
Yeah, earns a captain, that C on his jersey as well. He's just a pleasure to have on the team because he's going to show you by example. He's a leader by example, and what an example he made of his touches and his his play out there offensively and defensively. this past Friday. He just did a great job for us.
And I mean, he had a few strong lead blocks, too, that helped Charles get in the end zone as well. He was doing it all over the field. And that's why Jose Febus is our MVP this week, our most Vineland player, presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's Economic Development Department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. Big thank you to the City of Vineland for being our presenting sponsor for our player of the game. And I mean, Jose did it all.
He did.
Offense, defense, special teams. He was in there, got that huge sack to end the first half,
100%.
Scores the first touchdown of the game to kind of swing momentum in your guys' direction, has that huge lead block there for Charles to get into the end zone a few times there. I mean, he was just all over the field and making plays nonstop and also doing it on special teams as well.
Absolutely. Again, my hat goes off to Jose Febus and how he answered the call and came out there firing. But you know what we can't leave out is that offensive line had a day.
And that was the first thing you said.
That offense, yes, and that's what kind of leader he is. See, he's going to go ahead and he's going to give kudos to those that deserve it. And being so that they were playing beyond measure, that O-line deserves a hell of a lot of credit. You know, Jafet, you know, you got Zach Zavis, you got Aiden Zincraft, you have who else on that O-line? Oh, my goodness, I'm drawing a blank right now. It's going to come back.
That's a good thing if you're an O-lineman, though, because we're not calling your name.
No, but, again, the O-line had a day. The O-line had a day. From pass blocking to run blocking, they all had a day. And they really made us proud. I mean, they put together some strategic blocking concepts that we introduced to them this past week. And the kids are just learning, man. They're really learning, and they're really doing their due diligence. I'm proud of them all.
Yeah, and I think the O-line really adjusted, too, as the game went on. You know, early in the game, if you watch it, you see some Cherry Hill West defenders kind of find their way through, and they're kind of creating a little bit of havoc for Elijah early on in the game. And it was just one guy sneaking through, and it really kind of broke things down. But as the game progressed, especially in that second half, you saw third quarter, fourth quarter, they were tight-knit. They were not letting anybody through, and I thought the adjustments in-game were huge for the O-line, and it showcased, you know, as the game progressed where you guys were able to take care of the football too.
Yes. I remember the last name before I continue, Adonai Navas. Another kid, first-year football player. Adonai, you make us really proud. You observed and not only observed everything throughout, you know, off season, but you put it into play, and you've developed into a hell of a player offensively. So, again, my apologies for having that little brain fart, but I'm telling you right now, you make us proud in that now we have two guys that have never touched the football, Brandon and Adonai, and they both have excelled at their respective positions. So we're very proud. And, of course, Noah, you were the tight end. Okay, and Noah was having a game, offensively, defensively, a game.
Special teams.
I mean, he's
almost got a hand on that field goal.
Yep, almost. We'll talk. I already talked to him about that, and he said, next time, Coach, I'm going to make sure. But, you know, I mean, you can't ask more about that kid. That kid is just – he's all over the field. Offensively, defensively, special teams, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, and I think, you know, when you have leadership like a Phoebus, like Noah Cruz, Muchie, and, like, it just trickles down in a game like that where you guys set the tone defensively. You have a captain go down and get the scoring going for you guys in Phoebus. And it's like, okay, we kind of have a little control and momentum of this game. Let's keep it and roll it through. And then, you know, Charles Clark was a warrior in this game.
I mean, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. You know, Chauncey is he's just a special player, man. And if you don't see it, we're going to see him playing at the college level, and you're going to see more of that. He's the first hit's not going to bring him down.
The second hit's probably not doing it
Yeah,
either.
the second hit might not either. I mean, he just keeps his legs going. He's, Roger Craig style, knees up at his chest, pad level low, vision incredible vision. He sees things before they happen, it's just something nice to have in our arsenal. And I mean, he was an absolute workhorse this past Friday, and kudos to him because he made people pay for.
Yeah, I mean, there was a play during the game. I forget what quarter it was, but, he's running, kind of runs up the gut, and Cherry Hill West is there. But because he kept his feet moving,
Yes.
and you don't see his feet stop moving until the whistle blows.
Yes.
And even then, his feet are probably still pedaling like he's riding a bike.
Yes.
He went from maybe 1 yard gain to like a 4.5 yard gain just because he kept his feet moving.
Absolutely. He pays attention to detail. That kid pays attention to detail. He knows exactly what he has to do at his respective position, and he puts it to work, come every game day.
And, I saw him in the Highland game where, it looked like Georgie was trying to check in, and he just sends him off the field. He's like, nah, I got this. I got this.
Yep.
Go back off.
And that's respect to this, to the older guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's going ahead and doing it in a shunning way to George at all. He's just saying, you'll get yours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still good, And myself, I see that. My OC sees that. We're going to go with the older guy just because he's earned it.
Mm-hmm.
He's earned that right. And when Georgie gets to that level, when he's earned that right, he'll be able to wave the next young guy off for a play or two. That's all.
And I think with Charles in this game, too, George had a couple carries in there, but it was a bell cow game for Charles Clark on the ground against Cherry Hill West. And you saw it, every play was like, oh, he's looking a little winded, but he would get right back up, ready to go, and would pick up another 6 yards. And any time in that game in particular, and we've seen it throughout his entire career, too, whenever he hits that outside, nobody's catching him.
No.
As soon as he's able to kind of get that end-around loop, he's gone.
Yeah.
And good luck to your defense.
Yeah, he has a game speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it, right? So when somebody's actually chasing him, he has another gear. So again, that's all the work. Not to mention, he has that knee brace on. The kid works. He works so hard to go ahead and put the best possible product that he can on the field. And we can't be proud enough about that kid.
And I think offensively for you guys, too, Elijah was able to do enough to help you guys win. I think he would tell us that it wasn't his sharpest game and he can improve. But he did enough to move the ball, was able to, kind of stay poised. He was good on the rollouts. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just one of those days that you kind of just chalk it up like, hey, we're like an inch off on a couple of throws here. And
right.
maybe that score is, even more if you're able to connect on some of those throws to Saquon and Xavion where it was just an inch off on a few throws. And I think Elijah would sit here right with us and say, yeah, I was an inch off. It happens. It happens to every quarterback at every level. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to take that and grow from it as the postseason rolls around now.
Well, what I could tell you is this. Elijah, for his, I guess, this not being his best game, he still managed the game like a true, veteran would. I mean, let's keep a spade a spade. He hits Febus on a beautiful pass to the outside corner of the end zone. He comes back a few plays later and hits Munchie downfield. You can't throw a ball better than that.
Nope.
You can't.
And the way Munchie extended, I
Superman.
said it on the broadcast.
Superman.
I said he looked like Slinky Dog.
Yeah, just
stretching his body out.
And then has the wherewithal to bring the ball back to his body before he hits the ground.
And have control with it.
I mean, that was one of those plays you're like,
you're waiting for the Sports Center music to hit.
Something. Yeah, I'm like, I look at Coach Sean. He's like, he has the big smile on his face. I'm like, that was incredible. Just a beautiful play by those two. And like I said, Elijah, he's still growing. He's a young kid. He's still growing into his craft. He's still learning.
He's doing all of this as a 14, 15-year-old.
Yes, he's a true freshman. I mean, listen, every coach on staff is very proud of where he's developed or how he's developed to this point, rather. So we're just going to keep developing him. Mm-hmm. We don't try to throw too much on his plate. But the kid can absorb so much information. It's really nice to have that type of cerebral quarterback. Not to mention he also has the physical abilities to do what he did this past Friday.
And I don't think QB wins are truly a real stat, but as a freshman, you go 5-3 as a starter.
It's not bad.
Pretty good.
It's not bad, and anyone's book, I don't think. Again, he's still growing into his position, and through the years, he's going to be someone that there's going to be a lot of a lot of calling out of his name. But I can assure you that.
And on top of that, he's going to have at least 3 more games this season to continue growing and developing. Like, who knows what's going to come when the postseason lights turn on,
Again, cream rises to the top, and I think that some of our players, including Elijah, still have to show a lot of what they have as far as talent. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep grinding.
I don't
and
even
see
think
what
he scratched the surface.
Nah, he's a young pup. He's gonna be just fine. He keeps absorbing the knowledge that Coach Fitton gives him, Coach Shelton, Coach Hendricks, myself. He's gonna be just fine. That kid.
And I think he and Coach Finn, you see them on the sideline. They're almost like Smith and Shelton. They're conjoined at the hip, and I think that's good for a young quarterback to have trust in their quarterback coach like that and can go right to them and say, all right, how can we improve? How can we build on a drive that just happened? What do we have to do to fix a drive that just happened? Like, they're in constant communication whenever you look at the sideline.
Absolutely. And Coach Fitton knows that, and all the coaches know, that's the special relationship between the QB coach and the QB. I don't want no one talking to him. If anyone's going to talk to him, it's his quarterback's coach or myself or the OC. That's the trifecta. That's it. There's no one else that's going to be ringing stuff in his ear or, making him, oh, well, maybe you could have thrown it. Coach Fitton, Coach Hendricks, myself. And that's the nice rapport he has with Coach Fitton, that he could always go there and get clarification of any type. Then that gets conveyed to Coach Hendricks. Coach Hendricks gives him a little more clarity on maybe how he wants his play run. And then ultimately it might come back on me like, Coach, I need this, that, and I'll give that final say. But other than that, it's pretty much Coach Fitton's talking to him all the time. That's why you see him on the sideline. No one else.
And, before we hit our first commercial break, special teams was pretty special again. Another safety. We're going to have to have one of our Vineland football historians do a little digging and see if 4 safeties in the season is somewhere in the top 10, because I feel like it is, because I think getting 1 safety in a season is remarkable enough, especially at the high school level, but to have 4 and 2 in one game and then back-to-back weeks. The safety dance has been playing on repeat this year for the Vineland High School football special teams unit.
Coach Garton, Coach Shelton, they're doing an excellent job with the special teams units. And they're coming to play, man. They're coming with their hard hats on, and they're doing their due diligence. I'm extremely proud of all my kids, man. They, like I said, we might show up to a venue and they look at us, oh, we're only about 40 deep, right? There's only about 40 of us on that varsity team, but I always tell them I wouldn't go to war with anyone else but them kids. That's it. I'm all in with my kids. There ain't no second guessing. Well, maybe take him. Let's roll. And I'm going to put my hard hat on too, because those are the type of kids these are. And I told them in their face, ain't nobody else that I would go to war with but with you 41 kids.
And I mean, a regular season that finishes with a winning record. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that
Testament
mean
to my kids
for you guys, to kind of see that growth? We touched on it last week too, to see the growth from last year this year, get the 5 wins at the regular season mark, and do it in a way where you guys feel really good about the way that the season has progressed.
Absolutely. Us as coaches, we're extremely proud of our kids. They give us everything they have week in and week out. We can't ask for no more. Like I said, we're not showing up to a venue with 70, 80 kids like some of these big schools show up with. We're showing up with 40, 41 kids that are just monsters at what they're going to do. They're going to give you everything they have, play in and play out. They're going to give you everything they have every play. So we can't ask no more of our kids. We're very proud of our kids.
We're going to take a quick break right here. When we come back, we'll get ready for the postseason as we have another day of the week to add to the football game day calendar. We're like Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones, except it's calendar dates. We'll touch in with some alumni, and I have another what if Coach Guzman was coaching in an NFL game situation for you. But don't go anywhere. You're watching and listening to Guzman's Gridiron right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Hey, everybody, quick ad break, and I want to talk to you about our amazing sponsor, Allen Associates, returning for a second season here on Guzman's Gridiron. We are extremely thankful to have them on board with us for the 2024 Vineland football season. And if you are looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. Whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their newly renovated website, Allen Assoc, that's ALLENASSOC.com. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. Big thank you to Allen Associates for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron. And welcome back, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors and coach. The postseason is here.
It is here.
It's the consolation round, and it's EHT, a very familiar opponent, and our game previews each and every week brought to you by our good friends at Allen Associates. And if you're looking for a reliable and experienced insurance agency that caters to all your needs, look no further than Allen Associates Insurance Services. With over 6 decades of experience under their belt, they specialize in health insurance, financial services, and accounting. And whether you're a part of the public or private sector, they've got you covered. Their family-owned business currently helps upwards of 300 groups throughout New Jersey, providing them with the best insurance options available. You can easily learn more and access their services by visiting their newly renovated website, which is linked in the description, both audio and video, and it's up on the screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. So join the family and let them help you secure your future. Contact them today online or by calling 856-692-2250. That's 856-692-2250. And big thank you to Allen Associates for being a proud partner of Guzman's Gridiron. Coach, EHT coming to town, a team that we are very familiar with, Old Cape Atlantic League, rivalry right there. And they weren't on the regular season schedule this year, but we get to see them again. And it's a team that there's a lot of history between EHT and Vineland.
Yes,
There's, dates back, like we said, to Cape Atlantic League. There's a lot of history between their former coach, Coach Russo, who grew up playing together. So there's a lot, of back history between EHT and Vineland.
Right. We've had some pretty good, battles there with that team, at their house and at our house. Under Coach Stetzer, which is Coach Russo's friend. And now under the watch of Coach Davies, Coach Rob Davies, and he's done an excellent job with his staff to get the kids ready over there in EHT. But yeah, we have respect for one another, and it's always a heck of a game when we go ahead and rival them.
And it is funny how it kind of paralleled where Coach Stetzer stepped down, Coach Russo stepped down, new coaches, and the teams are kind of on a similar trajectory, kind of in that, retooling and finding their identity. And, EHT had a bounce back year this year. They go 4-4 in the regular season. You guys go 5-3. So a lot of, similarities there. But from the early go here as we record this on Monday, and a quick turnaround, because guess what, guys? 6 p.m. on Wednesday is kickoff this week at Gittone Stadium. That's right, Wednesday night football at Gittone Stadium. We'll get into that as well. In the condensed week that you've had, what have you picked up on, film-wise, of what this iteration of EHT football does really well, and what you guys are looking to kind of counteract with what you guys do well?
EHT, they're going to give you tough-nosed kids, kids that are going to, their staff over there wants to run the football, and pick their points of emphasis to pass on. But we're just gonna come as we always do, make sure that we make the team one-dimensional or try to as best we can. And in this case, we want to make sure that we take away that run aspect and force them to pass. And if we do that, I think that we'll have a bigger, better shot at coming home with a W.
And I think in the early go of the season too, we played ACIT week 1 of the season, and
Right.
with them having a varsity program now, you've seen some of the kids that were playing at EHT over the past couple of seasons.
Yes.
They're now at ACIT, so EHT
Yes.
kind of loses that firepower there, but they've retooled and still have a formidable team. But knowing that they don't have some of the familiar faces we've seen the last couple of years, it changes a little bit of the dynamic of what they've been able to do. And like you said, they are a run-first team, and
Yes.
you kind of want to hone in on that running game like we have been able to against some of the past opponents we've had over the past couple of weeks. And our run defense over those weeks has gotten better and better and better.
Absolutely. Again, a testament to our defensive coordinator, Coach Clifton Smith. I mean, that guy's just he's a guru. When it comes down to defensive schemes, he really is a guru. And then, there goes Robin and Coach, Ryan Shelton going ahead and piggybacking off of what he's learned through Coach Smith and adding his own little zest to it. They have a really good relationship. We all do. Like I always say, our staff is really tight-knit. So we can bounce different ideas off each other. No one catches any, ill will feelings or anything like that. We're grown men in there, and we act accordingly, and we take constructive criticism very well. So again, as far as the defensive scheme goes, we're just going to go ahead and see about making them one-dimensional, and then try to capitalize on their mistakes.
This feels like a first for this football program, going from a Friday night road game to a Wednesday night home game. That's not normal for football whatsoever.
Nope.
Take me through what this new preparation schedule has been like. We've been thrown all around the calendar. I feel like the Addams Family Days of the Week song, and we're 3 days away from collecting every single calendar date. What is it like, in such a hyper intensive and short week to prepare for a game?
Well, I can tell you this, the whole film and install portion that we normally do on a Monday, that's out the window. It's been a kind of a squeeze play for us to squeeze everything in that we can in these 2 days. I had to give the kids off, of course. We just got done battling on Friday. I'm not bringing them in right away to go ahead and get ready for a team. I don't care who it is. The kids need some rest. And like I said, we're not privy to have 70, 80 varsity players on the team where I can kind of be like, okay, well, we have another back shoot here. We can come in on Sunday, go full. No, our kids need their rest. Our kids need to, get better physically from this past Friday. So we're going full today. They're outside right now doing their due diligence with the OC and DC. We'll go full tomorrow. And then it's game day Wednesday. This is the quickest turnaround that I've ever been involved with. And that goes for me playing high school ball, college ball, coaching, high school ball. It's the quickest turnaround. So, again, we added an extra, half hour each day. That gives us another hour to kind of fill in that first day of Monday. But, again, at the end of the day, we're going to go ahead and make sure that our kids are as prepared as they're going to be for the game.
And I think overall, too, one of the more important things with such a quick turnaround is that communication with TD and with Dara. And
Absolutely.
What is that relationship like this week? It's always great. Obviously, they're the best in the game.
Yes.
But what is kind of that relationship this week with such a quick turnaround and making sure everyone is taking care of their bodies coming off such a quick turnaround as well and getting prepared for what your body's going to endure on Wednesday on such a quick time frame?
When you're talking, Trainer Dave and Miss Dara, those two trainers, we love them to death. They're not just the football team. We're talking all the sports teams that Vineland here has. They love them. They get their work done, and they're professional at their job. At their careers, they're very professional in handling every kid individually, because every kid has a different diagnosis, right? So they take it upon themselves to make sure that they communicate with me wholeheartedly right away. And when I tell you right away, I mean, we could be in the middle of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Goose, I just want you to know such and such is going to be out for at least another 15, 20 minutes. So if you have somebody in there that can go ahead and take their spot, I need him for 15, 20 minutes. No problem. Thank you for letting me know. Boom. So as far as communication with both Trainer Dave and Miss Dara, it's seamless, man. They really have a knack to go ahead, get everything they need for that kid, for that individual done, whether it's in gameplay or we're at practice and they need them for, half hour of stamina ice. Whatever it is, the case may be, they're always communicating with us. And it's just nice having them there because we know that our kids are getting the best possible help that they can at this level.
And I think, with it being at home plays such a beneficial factor for you guys as well, where you're not only on a quick turnaround and then having to go on the road on Wednesday. At least you're home. And I think that plays a huge part in just the mental part of this game and being prepared is knowing, all right, we just have to get on a bus to go to Gittone Stadium. It's not going, 35, 45, 50 minutes to another opponent. It's right around the corner, and we don't have to worry too much about the quote-unquote road trip.
Yeah, that, when you're going an hour and 10 minutes about, away, and I'm speaking of this past Friday, when you have that type of away game with that much time in between, it can make your team kind of lose focus, right? But when you're home, you're home. You know what time it is at Gittone Stadium. You know what type of feel. You know the atmosphere. You know the whole routine. So yeah, being home is just it's a breath of fresh air. It gets our kids to really hone in on what they need to hone in on, and they know that they are going to have a beautiful fan base coming to check them out come this Wednesday at 6 p.m.
I do want to let everybody know, too, I didn't realize until the game was done, but last week's game wasn't broadcast live because of connection issues of where we were. There was no real way for us to set up the Wi-Fi, but it is available now on the Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel, so if you missed out on the game, it's available to watch, and let me tell you, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out, youtube.com/@VLDSchoolsTV. And, when you prepare for an opponent where there is so much history and it is kind of like a mini rivalry, I would even say it is a rivalry.
It is.
It's Cape Atlantic League.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history against EHT.
100%.
How fun is it knowing that it's, a postseason game against a rival like this where there is so much history. There's so much, storytelling between these two teams, relatively close in distance from where you guys are. And just knowing that these programs are kind of on a similar trajectory right now, too. How fun is it knowing that all of that gets encapsulated at Gittone Stadium on Wednesday?
Through the years, Kyle, we've developed a rivalry with EHT. It's nothing, no bad rivalry, anything like that.
It's a great competitive rivalry.
It's a very competitive rivalry where at the end, when everything's said and done, we're lining up. We're shaking hands, and it's a good competitive energy that's out there. But you can slice that competitiveness with a knife. That's how thick it is. I'm telling you. So rest assured, Vineland fans, you're going to be in for one heck of a game. It's going to be a physical game that I could tell you because it's always physical when we play EHT. So come ready with your goodies and snacks and treats and all that good stuff because you're going to see one heck of a game come this Wednesday.
Yeah, it's the pre-Halloween game.
Yeah, trick or treat.
Get a little spooky.
Trick or treat.
And I think, with this game, too, and just seeing the growth of the offense, I think it's going to be a lot of fun watching them go toe-to-toe with EHT's defense.
Yes.
What have you guys picked up on what they do defensively that, the matchup is going to be one to watch between their defense and your guys' offense?
Well, their interior seven are pretty big boys, pretty nice-sized boys. So, we just got to make sure that our offensive line comes to play like we did this past week. Make sure that our alignment and assignments are right on. Make sure that, offensively we're moving the ball. Defensively, we're making our stops where we need to. And special teams-wise, we're making sure that we, for PATs, the ball goes through. If I call a field goal, that ball has to get through, so we have to get that protection up front. The snap has to be on point. The hold has to be on point. And, of course, the kick and follow-through have to be on point. So, as far as, us going ahead and making sure that we just do what we have to do, follow the game plan offensively, defensively, special teams wise, and it should lead to a W at the end of the day.
And I think over the past couple of years, since this has been introduced, the consolation bracket, I think has been a very healthy benefit for this program in particular, because we obviously have the Thanksgiving game in a month.
Right.
It keeps the guys fresh. It keeps them playing
Yes.
football, where in years past, you'd have this long layoff.
Break.
And you're kind of just, going 7-on-7 against each other. You're doing, simulated stuff against your own team. That doesn't keep you in game shape.
No.
So I think this added benefit from the West Jersey Football League and everything that encapsulates the consolation bracket is a huge benefit for the teams that are still sticking to tradition and playing those Thanksgiving games.
Absolutely. When you have that big of a break in between, a game, your last game of the season and then the last game of the season, right? The traditional Thanksgiving game. It's not going to bid you good results at the end. But when you stay in game shape and you have to prepare for a team that week and then the week after and then maybe that week before Millville, we're off, but we're practicing. We've done it since I've been here. We always practice that week before Millville, the week of Millville, so we get them 2 weeks of steady practice for our arch rival, our arch nemesis in Millville.
And I mean, you look at what the consolation bracket has done for this team and some of the iconic moments. We just had, I think, the 2-year anniversary of that one iconic moment over on that far sideline with a couple of referees that went down. That was an inevitable iconic win, I think, in this program's history, where you go through such a tumultuous thing, a viral online moment that reaches the Barstool Sports, the John Boys doing a breakdown of it, USA Today, it's on Sports Center. Vineland was on the map for a crazy situation, and then, back then Danny Russo leads the team down the field, and you guys end up winning the game. That's a historic win in this program's history just because of all that surrounded it, and it comes from the consolation round.
Absolutely. That game was just – I still remember – again, I still have it as clear as day in my head, and, I'm looking over at Coach Smith. He's looking at me. I'm like, we got the first down. That's definite. We don't have to worry about the defense. I don't know, Jose. We got the first down, all right? That famous movement. What? Did I just see a magic show? Is there gonna be a rabbit that's gonna hop out too? I mean, where are we going with this? I didn't even know what to say, Kai. I was totally mind blown. I've never seen that in my life.
I was so speechless. The only thing I could say on the broadcast was, what?
It was the biggest magic show. The worst magic show.
Yeah.
Okay? But the biggest magic show on that type of platform that I've ever seen in my life.
And, I mean, I will always have in my back pocket that, John Boy, shout out to him. He does great work, covering everything.
Thank you for that, John Boy.
Tells everyone in his breakdown that, the two announcers, they're just men of honor trying to do their job. And I was like, I got to put that on my resume.
Yeah.
John Boy called me a man of honor.
I mean, you would have had to been absolutely, like, in another world, not even another country, in another world, way away from Earth, to not being able to see that. I mean, it was so blatant that I couldn't do nothing. I was like, Russo, what are we doing? He goes, I know. What? I know. He knows. We all know. Everybody's seen it. We had a first down. Where are we going with this?
I had friends that work at big media corporations, the ESPNs, like local and all over the place, saying, that was your broadcast? That was you? I was like, yeah, that's my school. They were like, dude, I saw that on SportsCenter this morning. I saw that on Barstool. I saw that here. I was like, yeah, I was on the broadcast. Go listen back. Yeah. That's our school.
It was good though that it actually got out, because if that play would have kept us from winning that game, watch out. Woof. Watch out. That would have been flames of glory everywhere, because we would have not let it stop at that. No way. We would have made sure that the proper people knew what happened, and those guys, I hope they never ever get the ref ever in their life. I don't care if it's, animals. No. The answer will be no. You can't even ref, that squirrel racing that squirrel. You can't. No, there's no refereeing for you at all.
Yeah.
You could go put on something else, but you're not a ref.
I'm surprised that didn't put into effect the challenge flag at the high school level. I feel like it's an inevitable thing, not necessarily, 2-3 years from now, but down the line, I feel like it's going to make its way into the high school game. I'm surprised that didn't speed up the process.
Yeah, if anything, that's the perfect catalyst to put something like that into fruition. If that's not the perfect catalyst, then I don't know what is. I have no idea, but I would tend to sway with you and agree with you in that hopefully through, and we're not the only school that something like that's happened to. I'm sure there's plenty of other schools.
And we've seen it in different sports too.
Yep. So, but for it to be at least some type of benchmark to, guard against that type of action against kids. Like, you don't do that. Not to kids, not to adults. You don't do that. I mean, that's the epitome of cheating. There you go. Whether you were cheating for the other team, cheating for yourself, you almost hurt a team get its win by doing that type of nonsense in a way, right? It was all nonsense. And
100%.
So much so it was nonsense that if you look at the guy holding the sticks, his eyes went from normal to, and he just held on to the sticks like, I don't want to do this, but that's it. You see it. I mean, what a day.
A win is a win, am I right?
A win is a win. A win is a win.
And I mean, the consolation thing I think has done a lot of benefit too for keeping teams together. You talk about it in any sport, year over year, that's the last time, that final game is going to be the last time that iteration of that team plays a game together, a meet together. I think the consolation has extended that, obviously, for football and has allowed these teams to stick together for 2, 3, 4 more games.
Which is really nice. You have the likes of our senior group, right, that gets to play a little bit more football. We tell them all the time, once it's gone, it is gone, man. You'll never get these days in a high school Vineland football jersey and pants and helmet. You'll never get that back. So make the most out of every single game. Just make the most out of it. Enjoy it. Have fun. Have fun, because at the end of the day, all this work you put in, you ultimately want to have fun too. So again, we tell the kids, make sure that you understand that these are the last days for you as far as our senior class is concerned. And then we tell our younger guys, make sure that we send our senior class out on the up and up. You know what I mean? On the up and up, because you would want it when it's your turn for them to return the favor for you, the young guys. So
we're going to take one more quick break, but when we come back, we're going to get Coach Guz's thoughts on an NFL coaching situation. And also we had a chime in from one of our alumni parents on something that she would like to see be done as a new tradition here at Vineland High School.
Okay.
But when we come back, we'll touch on that and put a bow on getting ready for EHT for Wednesday night football. You're watching and listening to Guzman's Gridiron right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia.
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
And welcome back, everybody. And Coach Guz, I don't know if you caught it, but yesterday, towards the end of the 4:25 NFL slate, there was a mishap down in D.C. between the Bears and the Commanders that led to a memorable moment for all Commanders fans everywhere on a Hail Mary. And a moment that I think number 29 for the Chicago Bears wants to forget for the rest of his life.
Gotcha.
If you are coaching the Chicago Bears and that cell phone footage from the stands comes out of one of your defensive backs jawing back and forth with fans from the opposing team, and a final play has still got to be played. The game is not over.
Right.
And he's facing the other way, talking to fans and everything. You're in the lead. Jaden Daniels takes the snap. And I think they said in the next-gen stats era, it's the longest a quarterback has held onto the ball and thrown for a touchdown on a Hail Mary in NFL history.
Right.
Held the ball for 12.1 seconds.
Right.
Ball goes down. He finally turns around and realizes the play is happening. His assignment is to cover the guy who inevitably catches this touchdown.
Who was wide open, by the
Who
way.
was wide open in the back of the end zone.
Yes.
Rule number 1 of defending a Hail Mary is don't let anybody get behind you.
Mm-hmm.
He's running and tip drills the ball rather than smacking it down. Tips it up volleyball style right into the hands of the receiver. Touchdown. You're the head coach of the Chicago Bears. How are you handling that situation?
I hope people don't get their feelings hurt. At that level, it's really a business.
Mm-hmm.
Even though at the high school level, it's business. But at the NFL level, it's all business.
A multi-billion-dollar one.
Business. So, in my opinion, okay, unless this guy is a defensive back like Champ Bailey, lockdown corner, which if he was Champ, he would have never done that. But let's just say, argument's sake, he is that type of player. Unless you're that type of player, that's the last game you're going to play for me. Hands down, period. I don't want to hear anything. Your job is to cover your guy. Hands down, period, the end. There is no drawing back. You know, a buddy of mine said to me once, if you listen to the fans, you might as well go in the stands with the fans, right? Okay. So in this case, it's the same scenario. You want to listen to the fans, why don't you take off your uniform and go sit with them? Because it's basically what he did, right? He basically forgot about his job. Oh, this is my career, whatever you want, however you want to call it, in covering that offensive player, and started jawing with the fans. For what? The play is still happening on the field. Worry about the play on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If after the play and the game's over, you want to go back and forth with the fans, have at it, okay, in a productive way. Other than that, the minute you go back into the locker room, I'm going to come to you myself. You don't need to have anybody else. This is the last time you're going to have that Bears uniform on. Absolutely. I don't want to hear anything. I saw enough. I don't need nothing else to see. You're going after today. We're going to go ahead and get a replacement for you.
And I've seen multiple Bears fans, people in Bears media are like, yeah, that starts from the top. That is a coaching culture right there that's like allowed to go on in the play before. Tony Romo scripted it out on the broadcast and said, I'm not throwing the Hail Mary here. I'm trying to hit an out route to the sideline and get you closer to hit one more play. You get out of bounds, 32 seconds left, and then hit the Hail Mary. See what? That's exactly what they did on that next play. They had nobody covering the wide receiver close to the sideline. They get out of bounds, 2 seconds left, and then defensively schemed up. They're going for a Hail Mary.
Right.
I didn't understand why they had a linebacker playing like a spy role on the quarterback when he's not going to run.
Right.
Come at the quarterback and try to get the sack and end the game, and you win.
Right.
There's no reason to drop a linebacker back in coverage and just moving around with the quarterback. You allowed Jaden Daniels to run for 12.1 seconds before he launched that ball, which was short, by the way. It was short of the end zone until it got tipped up.
Until it got tipped.
And into the hands of Noah Brown.
And again, that's defensive back coverage 101. I mean, when the ball's up in the air, either you high point it, intercept it, or bat it down, especially in that situation, especially if it's a Hail Mary. You don't want to tip it. Defense gets taught the tip drill. Mm-hmm. Tip it to your fellow buddy. He's going for 6. Not offense. All right? Not offense. Defensively, you get taught what? Bat the ball down or intercept it high point it. Right? This man goes ahead instead of
it almost looked like he volleyed it.
Yeah. Instead of batting it down, he tips it into the wandering hands of the guy that was waiting in the wings for a nice touchdown.
Right in his hands.
Right in his hands. I mean, it was a mistake, a bad mistake, but started with what? Not worrying about his job and joining with the fans. Like, that's not what you do. So, you know what? This is the last paycheck the Bears are going to give you. God bless you. Go on to better horizons if you'd like. But I'm going to get somebody to replace you.
I audibly said, "Oh my gosh," when that happened.
Yeah.
And then you see the video pop out, and you see all the different, like, even the next gen, just seeing the dots moving and everything.
Yeah.
I watched that, and you see just everything. It's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah. Again, and that's someone that you can say that, you know, he took a selfish approach to that. I mean, who cares what? But the fans are going to be hecklers. They're fans. Worry about your craft. Worry about your teammates. Not some fan yelling at you. Who cares? They're fans. That's what they do. You know, they're going to heckle you when you're not doing good. They're going to love you when you're doing great. That's fans.
And that's road fans, no less. You're the opponent on the road. Like,
you know the drill. You know what goes on. You're supposed to have tough skin, thick skin. So grow some thick skin, because guess what? You go to a different team, you try to do the same mess, it's going to be the same outcome. You're gone. Bye.
crazy.
Not good.
Crazy.
Not
crazy.
good, Kyle. Not good.
I was scrolling TikTok this week, and I saw a video come out. I've seen it get shared everywhere, and we love the Blakely family here. They always are
great people.
Always, we miss having the Blakeleys on this roster. Yeah. And the video is of a high school and everybody on the varsity team going around to different teachers and presenting their jersey to a teacher that has made an impact on them that year.
Nice.
And everything, and they kind of pose with the jersey, almost like a jersey swap like that. And I think it was before their homecoming game. And Ms. Blakely said, Vineland should do this. And I was like, I was going to bring that up to Coach on the podcast this week, don't you know? But it was a really cool moment to see every student, and it was a different teacher for every student, and kind of just seeing the impact that the classroom makes on the team and everything.
I think that's a great idea, Ms. Blakely. That's something that I can bring up to administration and see what they do. But that's an excellent idea. And she knows her kids, when they went through it, just great kids, man. Loved all of them, But it always the big thing was Miss Blakely, you got another one?
I know.
You got another one going?
She joked a couple years ago. This is it.
There's
a grandbaby, and we got a couple more years before that starts rolling, and then we'll have another generation of Blakeleys.
But yeah, her sons just great kids, man. We were fortunate enough to have them play here, and they played at a high level, and kudos to them, and I only wish the best to them.
100%. And I mean, Coach, EHT, Wednesday night football. So there's no other football going on. You got the perfect set, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Wednesday.
Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel. Tune in. What is kind of, the keys to success for you going into this game, and how you guys walk away with a win, get another postseason victory under your belt, albeit it's the consolation, it's still a postseason game.
Yes, absolutely. Well, keys to victory are going to be simple. If we come ready to play, ready to execute on all three phases, and making sure that we make this team one-dimensional, we should walk away with a W at the end of the day.
It's going to be a good one. Come on out to Gittone Stadium. It's going to be beautiful weather, 6 p.m., nice little midweek showdown between two long-standing rivals, Vineland, EHT, myself, Rich Scarpa, on the broadcast call. If you can't make it out, it's youtube.com/@VLDSchoolsTV. Doug Diola and the entire crew making the magic happen from our awesome truck. So definitely tune in or come on out to Gittone Stadium. Coach, best of luck this week. Looking to hopefully be sitting here at 6-3 next week as we prepare for another postseason matchup. And, of course, subscribe to Guzman's Gridiron wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel so you can watch the show every week. Follow Vineland High School Football on social media, at VinelandFB on Twitter, and at Vineland_football on Instagram. And this has been another edition of Guzman's Gridiron, presented by the Red and Gray Gridiron Group and Underground Sports Philadelphia. For Coach Guzman, KB, let's go Vineland. Big time win. We'll see you here next week. And as always, go Vineland.